Hey guys, it's Zypic, and today I'm back with another base build. Today I'll be showcasing my multi-TC solo duo base design. This Alone in Tokyo style base has been created to defend against any type of online raid. Incorporating inner and outer peak downs, this design has plenty of room for extra bags or box space. The compact core design has been created to give you the optimal amount of storage for the best of your loot. Our peak down floor uses wide gaps as well as some beds, boxes, and lockers in the event of an online raid. This floor also gives access to the wide gap outer peak downs. With all of that said, let's get right into the base tour and then I'll show you all how to build it. Heading up to the front door, you can see one of our easily accessed external TCs. This leads us to our basic double door airlock, which has a window and a few gaps inside to check for door campers. Heading through the last double door will bring us to the bottom of our peak downs. Heading through the single door on the left will give us a small room and then the next section of our inner peaks. We can follow this door path into the last portion of the design, also giving us access to the jump up into our core. Climbing up our ladder and heading through 3 garage doors will lead us to our 3 sleeping bags, extra box space, our tier 3 workbench, and also our drop down and jump up to the other floors. Downstairs we have 4 large boxes for the best of our loot, and hidden behind a window we also have our main TC. The main TC upkeep is on your screen now, but I'll also put the external TC upkeep on the side. Let's now jump up to the 3rd floor and continue on the tour. Up on this floor behind a few garage doors, we have extra box space, our electricity wall, and also our entrance to the peak downs. To the right we also have our roof floor, and we'll come back to that in just a minute. This is also a good time for me to mention that if you like what you see and you want to watch more, don't forget to subscribe. It only takes 1 click and it really helps out the channel. Getting back into the tour, you can see here we have one of our 3 peak downs, and on the corners along with 2 boxes we also have these side peak windows. Note that we have plenty more room for beds, boxes, and lockers up here if you run out of storage in the core. Passing through the double door will lead us to our outer peak downs. And of course these windows cover 360 degrees around the base, with 2 more of these sections repeating around the peaks. With all that said, let's jump up to our roof. Through the left side garage door we have space for our large battery, and to the right we have our basic airlock to the outside with a window. While I give you a tour of the roof, there's a few important things you should know about this design. As this build has been made for the aspect of PvP and raid defense, I'm assuming that most of you trying to build this are advanced Rust players. Therefore, this video is going to be faster paced than my other builds. As multi-TC wall stacking can be tricky, if you're planning to build this base, I recommend doing it on a build server before you try it on official. And with all of that said, we've completed the tour. Now before I begin the build, I want to mention that this video is a collaboration with my buddy Red Apple. Red is also a YouTube base designer and he's agreed to help me with some of the building and commentary of this video. If you want to see more bases by him, go check him out in the description. We'll start by placing in 4 triangles, making the footprint of our core. We can then surround this with walls. Next, add 3 roof triangles on top, leaving 1 slot open for our drop down chute.
Alright, so once this thing is done, go ahead and place your TC in this corner as far back as you can, so we can fit a furnace next to it and close it with a window.
Next, let's build in our drop down chute with a double door. We can use a half wall in this triangle tile to fit in 4 boxes in our main loot room. Also, don't forget to place in wall frames. If you have garage doors now, you should place them down. Otherwise, we'll just remove the boxes later on and fit them in. If done properly, we should have enough room in the corner to fit down a furnace for our jump up. Now on the 2nd floor, we're going to place a close wall frame on the right side and a far one on the left with a wall. Add your roof pieces on top and then place doors in both of these slots. Now jumping down outside, we can build in all the squares for our inner peaks. If you haven't already, make yourself a basic jump up with either a half wall or a staircase. And now Red will show you how to build in the chute for the 3rd floor.
Alright, if you want to have a roof entrance right away, you might as well not place this door at all and just place walls like this to create a chute. And then you just close it off like this. And we can use this triangle to place down a tier 1, a barbecue, and a small box, and this is our way up as well.
This is also the spot for your main bags. At this point, make sure you have some extra stone lying around because we're going to start working on the outer shell of the base. Start by building in 2 single door frames on either side of the squares. We can then connect them with walls and place window frames on top of our doors. If you don't have embrasures quite yet, just use the wooden or metal window bars. And if you don't have a ladder yet, you can replace the twig half wall that we had before. We can then head out the right side of our peaks and begin working on the external. Firstly, build off 3 triangles in a moon shape, then 1 square and another triangle on the right side. Then building out from the base, we're going to place down 7 square foundations. After 7 squares, cap it off with 1 triangle foundation. And don't worry if you have to change the elevation while you build, our final TC will only take up about half this length. You can see I'm now demolishing all 7 of the square foundations we placed, only leaving out the capped triangle. And now we're going to build back into our base with only triangles using these half moon shapes. When you get to the point where they connect, go ahead and start demolishing them one by one and rebuilding the pattern that we created in the first place. Building this final step of the pattern lines up our TC with the rest of the base, just to ensure that both sides of the wall stack gap are the same size. Ensure you did this correctly by taking a building plan and making sure you can place walls both next to the TC and the base. Next, demolish any foundation that isn't part of the diamond pattern leading out to the external. On the 3rd diamond pattern out, you should lose your main TC privilege. Go ahead and upgrade this foundation and demolish anything that's behind it. Next, we'll go ahead and window off our external TC. If you don't have the glass window yet, you can just use a door frame. As this TC is going to be holding up some of your base, don't forget to fill it up with plenty of resources and check the upkeep often. We can then upgrade all of our diamond foundations, including the 4 outside of our single door. Don't forget to place in wall frames on top of these foundations, as it's the actual connection between the TC and your main base. Finally, we'll seal off this room with 2 more walls right in front of our single door frame. We can now repeat the same steps off the left side of our single door frame, building in our second external. And while Red builds in the second TC, head down to the comments and let me know what you think of this type of collaboration. I try to read all my feedback and it really helps me improve each video. I'm gonna let this part play out at normal speed, just in case any of you need help building the externals.
From this side, we don't actually place an external TC, but we just cover these with triangles, place 2 walls like this, and we're gonna have our entrances close to this one, here and here. Alright, so to form at least some sort of airlock, I'm gonna place a door here, add a triangle, and place another double door to the left.
When you're ready and you have enough stone, feel free to add on the next layer of the outside shell. Then we'll head upstairs and add on the roof to the inner peaks. Firstly, go up to one of your externals and place in these 2 triangle floor frames connected to the TC. You should see a small gap on both sides of the window frame. Of course, one of the 3 sides isn't wall stacked, so there won't be a gap. Once again, this side has an external, so make sure the frames are connected to a TC wall.
Alright, so in these 2x1 spots, go ahead and place door, door, and window, window. And move into the other one, the same thing again. There we go.
Next, let's add in the squares on top of our peaks, starting on the side without an external. Notice that we're unable to attach them to the floor frames from this angle, so we'll have to jump down below and we should be able to place it from underneath. Repeat this on every side of the base.
Now to cover this up, we're going to place some triangles from the external DC because they need stability from the external DC. I'm going to go ahead and place a half wall over there, jump on top of it. Go ahead and jump on top of this one, place 2 triangles like that, and that's going to allow me to place triangles inside here at the half height. I'm going to upgrade these ones, and basically you can destroy these ones now.
I'm going to repeat those steps in first person if any of you are confused. And of course, the side without an external TC can be done lots of ways. If you haven't already, start upgrading the walls of our core to metal. Don't forget to also upgrade all your foundations and roof pieces. The window frame is optional, I'm just going to leave it stone. If you haven't already done so, throw down your Tier 2 workbench in the place of the Tier 1. And once you have some extra metal frags, you can upgrade the second level of our core as well. At this point, if you have some extra HQM, you can upgrade the roof pieces of our first floor. And if you have extra HQM, start upgrading the bottom walls as well. Once again on the peak down floor, we'll start by adding a half wall in our jump up for extra storage. The roof access will be on the right and the entrance to the peak down will be on the left. Using a twig floor tile like this one will make the walls much easier to place for our drop down chute from the roof. Now just put down some garage and double doors, and we can fit a few more boxes in here as well.
Alright, so now let's cover this up, and we need to place a wall frame right here, and it's going to be red if you just look like this, so you kind of need to look down, and you place a wall here to the left. Okay, so now we need to cover up this whole roof, and to do so I'm going to go ahead and on this side where the external TC is, I'm going to place 2 triangles and then 2 triangles on this side. The rest of the roof is basically connected to the core, so go ahead and place squares here and 2 triangles on this side.
We'll use wall frames to fill in all the gaps on the peak down floor. Just be aware you might have to look down in some places to build it in. Now let's place down 2 square foundations off of both the 4 triangles that connect our external to the base. On every side of the base where the square foundations stick out, we'll place down wall frames to give our peak stability. Repeat exactly what I do when building in your outer peaks, starting with the closest outer peak down door to our core entrance. It's important that you copy exactly what I do here when placing down the triangles to guarantee the largest gap possible. Working counterclockwise, we'll move to the next peak. Now I'll place down window frames on each of these triangles. For the peak down in between the two external TCs, you're going to connect all 3 triangles for the roof onto the core. There should be a few small gaps in between the window and the roof. On the other 2 window rooms, get a wall frame and place it down right on top of the gap. Then connect all of your triangle roof pieces to the corresponding window. And note that you may have to place some in before others as the stability is a little weaker here.
Alright, so now is the time when we throw down all these embrasures from all the sides.
Also, don't forget to place the embrasures on the inside of your peaks. For extra storage space, fit down 2 large boxes in each of your side peaks. Now's the time to place down any extra deployables you have, such as beds, boxes, or lockers.
Let's finish off the airlock, and to do so we're going to place a triangle foundation here, a window to the side. I'm going to close this off from the ceiling, and double door goes here, and a reinforced glass window comes here. And there's this little peak inside the airlock, so if you don't like it, you might as well place a wall frame here. So at this point our external TCs need more protection, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade them to metal from these sides. And from this side I can place a garage door in this spot and close this off with a wall and a suit. Now we go ahead and do the same thing with the other TC.
Finally, let's get our roof floor done with a basic airlock and room for our battery. If you'd prefer, you can also throw down a window in this location instead of a door. I'm going to replace our double door for a garage, and then we'll head outside and add in the roof ramps. Directly out from our airlock door, we're going to place in a square ramp, and then right next to it, we're going to have a triangle. Make sure your square ramp and your triangle ramp are on different levels of the wall stack. This will give you a very small gap to look through when they connect. Repeat the inverted steps on the side of the base with our window frame. The last side of the base has no wall stacking, so we'll just use 2 triangle roof ramps to make a basic walk-up with no gap. On all the final gaps, I like to add a window on the left and a half wall on the right for some extra cover. If you haven't already, upgrade your 3rd floor to metal. We can upgrade the 2nd floor to armored. And finally, replace our tier 2 for our tier 3 workbench. With all that said, that's the entire base. I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's been it.